Health headlines start with an unusual disorder on the rise, overexercising. Doctors say it can get to the point where it starts to interfere with work, personal relationships, and even cause some serious injuries. Doreen Gensler explains.
My goal was to try to come in under 21 minutes for a 5K by the end of the summer.
53-year-old Chris Lear admits he was never a runner before, but when he decided to join a racing series last year, he says the thrill of the competition became addictive.
Once you started winning, it's very contagious.
So he started training harder, running longer distances and adding boot camp classes. But it was all starting to take a toll on his body.
I just hit a point where I couldn't walk anymore.
MedStar Georgetown Hospital physical therapist Scott Epsley says he's seeing more and more patients like Lear who are over-exercising and taking their workouts to dangerous extremes.
It's very common in runners in particular to see this over-exercising mentality. There seems to be kind of that psychological bent, that type A personality.
In the last 12 years, the number of people finishing marathons has increased by 50%. And it's not just runners. The number of yoga practitioners has exploded from 4 to 20 million in the last decade.
Fear of getting fat. Fear of losing control, fear of sort of losing structure in their day-to-day life, not being in shape, not being desirable.
Psychiatrist Dr. Antonia Baum says over-exercisers are often similar to people with eating disorders. They use exercise as a way to control their lives or as an escape. It becomes a problem when it gets in the way of social activities or relationships, and of course, when it starts to affect their bodies physically.
Unfortunately, the way that most people know is because they start to get pain.
The pain comes from overuse injuries, usually bone stress, shin splints, tendinitis. Epsley says over-exercisers will also feel extreme fatigue and joint stiffness. Chris Lear suffered a stress fracture and had to take a break from running. After a few months of rest, he's back on track now.
It's a bonding thing, it's a competitive thing, and for me it's an internal drive just to keep going.
And that was Doreen Gensler reporting. Of course, exercise will affect everybody differently. Physical therapists told us that it's often not how much exercise you do that causes injury, but how fast you ramp up when you're training.